Hi everyone, Audron here, welcome to Wild Bush and Grit. Buying a new rifle is always exciting. You have that urge, that impulse to buy this new toy and bring it home. But hold on a second, let's be pragmatic for a minute. Many times I'm seeing people at the range or online in groups, people are complaining, you know, like, oh my god, this rifle. And literally, actually, there was one guy, he had a brand new Ruger 223 6-inch group at 100 yards. I was reading all the comments and like my eyes were just like rolling over. You know, people are like, yeah, what's your position? What is change your ammo? It's like, folks, 6-inch. I don't think it's your posture. I also don't think it's the ammunition you're using. You know, when your rifle is shooting like 6-inch group, something else is happening. I DM him in private, we start chatting, I give him a couple of hints, and he managed to bring those 6-inch to now 2-inch. When he reached those 2-inch group, I was like, well, now you can think about, you know, ammunition. Now you can think about your posture and breathing and other things. There are some elements sometime here and here that will make the rifle inaccurate. That is not you, that is not the bullet or the ammunition that you're using, but just the rifle itself is not set up properly, which translates in bad accuracy downrange. Let's see what I will usually do or how I will inspect a rifle. Okay, so let's start with the inspection. The first thing we want to see, obviously, whether it's brand new rifle or old rifle, for me it doesn't change. Okay, I'm going through the same routine. And the first thing I will check is the bore. You know, this is the most crucial part, I think, of any rifle. You want to make sure that the bore that you get is great. Now, I do have a bore scope, but before getting a bore scope, I would just inspect them visually. And what I'd like to do is have a light source that is not too strong. You don't want to, you know, have too much glare inside the bore as you're looking down. And what you're looking for is any irregularities in the specular. You know, there is light reflection inside the bore. It's like it's normally super shiny, and you're trying to detect if you have like any large patch of rust inside the bore, or maybe a stuck bullet. You don't know. I'm kidding. You won't be able to see any pitings with that technique. You will see like usually there's like massive patch of rust. If there is like, you know, moderate to low medium of rust, you will not be able to see it with that technique. All right, just know that this has its limitation. If there is a patch large enough visible through that technique, that's a cause for alarm. All right. The other thing I will check is the crown. Here I have a muzzle. I don't feel like taking it off right now, but usually I will inspect. I'll show you some B-roll footage, but I will inspect the crown. Okay, the crown is important. Why? It's the last point of contact between the bullet and the firearm, right? And if it's not regular, it means that the bullet will have a slight deviation in one, you know, in any direction, or the twist. So it will affect for sure the trajectory of your bullets, and it will result in inaccuracy downrange. So you want a crown that is sharp. You want a crown that is without any dent, or, you know, like you want the crown needs to be very clean. That's for the barrel. The next thing is the stock, of course. You know, quick visual inspection. You want to see if there's any cracks, or if, you know, is it rattling? If there's any issue with the stock. Usually on the wood stock, you will see a crack around the thing if there is one. Most of the time, this is where they will break. Not the end of the world. Maybe it's an element that to bring the price down. Wood stock are easily fixable, no problem there. You're gonna put the bolt back in the rifle, and we're gonna test the trigger. So obviously it should go click when you press it. All right. And what you want to do now is test here is really to make sure that the trigger is stable and is good. You know, it's well set and doesn't go off easily. And what I mean by that is you don't want the trigger to go off at any time or when there's like a slight hit or, you know, vibration in the rifle. So the way we test that usually is you open the bolt, you leave the rifle on fire position, and you will just operate the bolt with some level of authority. And the rifle will fail if the trigger goes off. Okay, but I did it like what, a couple of times, and it did not. Okay, you can do that
Good. You can do the same thing with the safety on safe. And the second test I also like to do is to simulate a drop. So I will put the rifle vertical, I will cock it, and I will give a good whack as if it was dropping. Okay, and again, you don't want the trigger to break as you're doing this. You can do that a couple of times, and that's it. Next thing, before going out to the range, of course, you need to clean it first because you don't know if there's any oil deposit or whatever. So follow a good cleaning procedure. I have a video on gun cleaning if you want. The next step, this is where I've seen many people with accuracy issue fixing their problem. And I will do that no matter what, new rifle, old rifle, I will always disassemble it and reassemble it, all right? Now, again, let's take the bolt off. And it doesn't take much, all right? Usually action screw, you only have 2. You remove them, split the rifle open, look for any debris inside the barrel channel here. And so there are a couple of items, in my opinion, that are crucial to rifles ownership. All right, and one of them is a great torque wrench. Okay, you want a torque wrench that will help you build a rifle with the proper torque specs, and this is very important. When I got this Bergara, one of the action screw was over torqued. I discovered it was over torqued because I dismantled it, right? And the problem with having improper torque setting is you're inducing stress on the rifle by, too much or not enough will induce stress in one way or the other. Too much meaning that you are either putting pressure on the components themselves. The rifle, as it fires, it needs some level of flexibility. If everything is too tight, that energy still needs to go somewhere. And often in the wood stock, this is why they crack at the tang. And not enough means you have too much loot. So when the rifle goes off, well, there is that vibration ripples through the rifle instead of moving as one piece. So too much, not good. Not enough, not good also. And this is where, from my experience, 75% of people who had inaccuracy issues were fixed just by torquing the rifle right. And when I'm talking about torquing, I'm not talking just about the action screw, which are crucial, but also the screws on top of the receiver here. So for example, we have a Picatinny and on the scope ring. This is also important to own if you are to service your rifle yourself. Removing the scope, cleaning things, putting it back. You need a level to make sure that your rifle is at its peak accuracy, because a slight cant in your rifle will result in inaccuracy downrange. All right, so every little thing you can control, you have to be in control of all these little variations. And the last item maybe I would recommend if you're getting into rifle is to carry with you a bore snake. All right, and not for typical cleaning, you need a specific cleaning kit, right, with a long rod, a bore guide, and so on and so on. Actually, I have a video on how I break barrel, which actually, yes, we do need to speak about barrel breaking, but you can see how this is basically how I clean my rifle now, so you can watch that video. The bore snake. The bore snake helps you is if you're hunting, you drop your rifle in the mud and you have some filth in the barrel, it needs to be cleaned quickly. If you don't have one of these, your hunt for that day is over. You have to go back to camp, clean the rifle, remove whatever dirt, mud is stuck in your barrel before you can fire safely a shot. If you carry one of these with you, you fell off, that's fine. Open your rifle, remove the bolt, pass the bore scope, use the bore snake through your barrel, and then the hunt continues. Barrel breaking, let's talk about this. There are two schools of thought here, but in my mind only one is right. And every rifle, whatever the manufacturer tells you, needs some level of breaking, all right? And yes, you can get a Tikka, for example, they will shoot sub-MOA right out of the box, alright? Sure. Essentially, what's barrel breaking? Barrel breaking is just polishing the bore of your barrel, okay? It's from the factory, it has a lot of irregularities, you have like a lot of, you know, it's not a smooth surface, it's foul easily, it's not superbly accurate also. You know, if your barrel is shooting sub-MOA out of the factory, it's just gonna get better if you do a proper barrel breaking, alright? And me, I'm just following Christensen Arms procedure. Yes, it's time consuming, but trust me, I've seen the result of before and after, and it's day and night, alright? It's gonna, yeah, it's gonna cost you like 50-60 rounds to properly break a barrel, but it's does worth it, alright? It's completely worth it. And to me, I think it's actually necessary. My cleaning video is also a breaking barrel video, so you can watch that. It's 2 minutes and you'll know exactly what needs to be done. Hello, doggy. That's it, folks. That's my routine. If I may have forgot something, maybe there's something else that people will check, you know, magazine, in and out, fitting, but usually this is done at the range. Once the basic are covered, your rifle is safe, everything is torqued to spec. The groups that you're going to see downrange are going to be more a reflection of what the rifle is able to do, and you will not, you know, wondering what's happening. So if your group are really bad after you've done all these things, it's time to consider maybe a new scope, or, you know, sending that rifle back to its manufacturer if they have a sub-MOA guarantee, for example. Which happened with a rifle I got recently, a Christensen Arm. I'm not super happy about it. I sent it back. The ball is in their camp, and we'll see what they come up with. But anyway. Alright, folks, this is where this one ends, and I'll see you in the next video.